Good evening, my brother. What's up?
My name is Kofi Ali.
Your name is?
Kofi Ali, and I know you are Cyrus. Tuntum Network.
Yes. That's great.
Every move you make, I've been listening to everything. But this is my second time.
I can't hear you. Every word I do?
Everything you talk about, I listen carefully.
Okay.
Every one of your video. I do the same thing as you are doing. The difference is that sometimes the way we are looking at economic situations and the way we are looking at our politicians and the way we are looking at our country, Ghana, and the fact that we are technologically highly disadvantaged, we see ourselves as if we are bigger than China or Russia, and we can't see why the Europeans created the European Union. My position is that we are divided in West Africa, seriously divided. When Ghana say yes, Togo will say no. When Togo say yes, Nigeria will say no. So, to me, we have 300 million people. That is why we formed the ECOWAS. Alternatively, we should be talking about the African Union. But what is more realistic, looking at you, if you have a passport, you realize that you are holding an ECOWAS passport. It replaces the Ghanaian passport. It means your identity have changed. What about the individual? It's only when you get to the border, you can't cross, you start crying. The situation, we just had election. In this election, we elected people to go to Ghana Parliament, 276. Ghanaians choose their legislators to go and legislate over laws. That exactly is what the European Union is doing. So when you say Europe, you're actually talking about the European Union, who now are having the German and the French manufacturing or industries collapsing because of the American and the Chinese dumping of goods there. So if we then are sitting down and limiting everything to Ghana, and we are not even aware that in the ECOWAS has got a parliament, and in the parliament, we Ghanaians are given 8 seats. We are given 8 seats. And then we, instead of electing them to become legislators, to make laws that when the leaders sign, it will be binding on all of us. So all you need to do is to divide Ghana into 8. And when you have Ghana into 8, remember, one of them, if you are dividing Ghana into 8, one of them will have about 20 to 30 constituencies out of the 275. That one is going to ECOWAS Parliament. That is when they will be like European Union Parliament. Ghana will be working in Ghana. Exchange rate, because we'll be spending the common currency. So many problems will be relieved out of Ghana government, and Ghana politicians will focus on important things. When we are talking about, for example, tomato production, some of us are only talking like look at it, nika. I want to grind maize. So I didn't factor the making of the maize, the machine that grind it to. I'm only thinking of the flour I'm going to make, and from my farm.
Voice of the voiceless.
Yes.
I'm struggling to understand your point. Please, can you help me?
My point is that we Ghanaians pay ECOWAS tax. I don't know whether you are aware. We are paying ECOWAS tax so that ECOWAS will be part of our problem-solving mechanisms in Ghana. We just had election. 90% of those who were violent in that election, some had their limbs chopped off and so on. Everybody has forgotten them. They are doing this because of the economic hardship. And this is not new. So what is this ECOWAS doing for us? That's the question. So if it is our place, right now, 8 seats is shared by the members of Ghana Parliament.
Okay.
And they don't even go to any
the voice of the voiceless.
My name is Kofi Ali.
Okay. Kofi Ali, thank you for coming on Tuntum Network. And thank you for watching my videos. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I want to respond to what you have said. You see, I disagree with what you are saying, but I needed to hear you and understand what you are saying.
Okay.
What I'm proposing here is not something new. There is a country in Southeast Asia called Singapore, and I know you know it. Singapore is a part of the Southeast Asian League. There are countries within that enclave. They are all part of those kinds of groupings and, league of countries and all of that. But that stops individual countries. It doesn't stop even individual countries from doing what they should do for their people. We are a part of ECOWAS. I get that point. We pay ECOWAS dues. I totally understand it. That doesn't stop Ghana from taking advantage from what we individually as a country can do. That is what I'm saying to you. When Singapore realized that the whole of that Southeastern Asian area needed serious education, what he did was he set up a system using a system called meritocracy, where people are appraised based on their performance. Went to their colonial masters in UK and said to them, all your universities in the UK, we want you to give us an annex in Singapore, an affiliate in Singapore. Your universities in America, give us an affiliate in Singapore, so that all the other countries in that area in Southeast Asia who want to go to UK and USA and Canada, they don't need to go there again. Let them come to us in Singapore. We'll give them the same education. We'll, in fact, allow your university lecturers to come there, come and teach them. In their third year, they go to America or wherever they want to go to. Then they created that niche for themselves. Ghana is in that position like Singapore. You didn't catch what I was saying. Oh. Ghana stands in the place of Singapore in Africa, in West Africa. If Ghana can know how to process tomatoes into all these other packaged products of tomatoes, as we are importing from other countries, we don't need ECOWAS to get it right before we do it. Ghana can just step in that space and say, listen, from henceforth, we are going to build the biggest tomato processing plant in all of Africa. We are going to do X, Y, and Z with the tomatoes. We are going to set our prices. We are now going to negotiate with our neighboring countries and give them offers. We are doing that for onion. We are doing that for this. We are doing that for that. Ghana becomes that hub. In fact, Ghana can become the hub of education in all of West Africa if Ghana did it right. All these universities our people are running to in the UK, in the USA. All of them from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Gambia, Cameroon, they would have been coming to Ghana to do their first 3 years education, and then the fourth one, they have the option to go to the UK. This is what I'm saying. Ghana, don't wait for ECOWAS. ECOWAS has its own fish to fry. That is long term. Whenever we are ready, we are ready. But whilst we are not ready, Ghana, don't sit on your hands. You have a role to play. I'll let you come. You have a role to play. And I'm encouraging Ghana and the government of Ghana, because it is upon the government of Ghana to get it done. When private people get it done, what happens is they mess up prices. They balloon prices as and when they want, and private people always will do what private people will do. And before we realize, foreigners in Ghana will take over that private space. Private people will start it in Ghana. Before we realize, Lebanese has taken it over, Indians has taken it over, Chinese has taken it. So the Chinese will be here and producing and putting it on it, made in Ghana, but all the revenue is going to Chinese. They convert their money back into their country. So it is upon the government of Ghana to say, listen, I know how this can be done. I will not leave it purely in the hands of private people. We, the government, we have the resources, we have the land, we have the technical know-how, we can put it together and get it done. So we are going to get it done, maybe with private partnership, but the government is the majority shareholder. And then we are going to cut the deals with all these African countries. Whenever ECOWAS is ready, we will deal with ECOWAS. Whenever AU is ready to function like a real AU, will deal with AU. But until then, there is so much we can do. You have the floor.
No, thank you very much. You see, The subject, I like your use of language, especially when you talk about your pronunciation and English language. I really, really respect you. You are one of the few people that I listen to because of your ability. You speak very well. And that convinced me that you are well educated, because these are the measure. And you are passionate about what you talk about. The subject you are talking about, I did it as part of developmental economy, second year, third, and fourth year in the university. I majored in economics, Asian tigers, Koreas, Japan, most of the Asian countries, how they got themselves to where they are today. After I was taught in the classroom, I then came out and took upon myself to put what have been taught into practice. In my analysis, I started having a problem with why South Korea is seriously advancing and North Korea has been shut down. Could this have something to do with the Chinese and the Russians and Europe and America? And now you have Japanese cars all over the world, and there's Korean cars all over, but there's no single Russian or what do you call it, North Korean car. So there is more to this discussion than the way we are looking at it. When you go to Asia, Asian countries are densely populated. When the Chinese did their revolution, because of their size, the Europeans couldn't do much about them. When I was a child in Accra, we sell Chinese, what do you call it? In Okanshi, we sell the what do you call it? The padlocks and all this is from China, chain, everything. But now the Chinese started changing things. So the Chinese economy now started going into the Asian countries to replace and push out the European and Western economies that are dumping the things there. So what the Europeans decided to do, there is a competition between the two of them. It's like an economic battle. Malaysia, Singapore, go to all of them. And this is the idea. If you go, you see that a lot of them. So the Chinese have no chance, no options, but to find a way to take advantage of the regional economy. Why the Europeans, because of their distance, have to transfer some set of technology so that they can compare. The African continent didn't get that advantage. We are not a threat to anyone. So what we are now, because of our division, 54 countries on the continent of Africa, everyone is fighting for himself. So we become a dumping ground for finished goods and source of raw material. So how do we address these issues? The Nkrumahs saw this problem that as long as we are divided, till the kingdom come, this story will be the same. And this idea that we can produce so much and dump it on other West African market, in our parlance, we refer to it as, we refer to this as egocentrist, illusionist, can do mindset syndrome. It's a kind of syndrome that when we are obsessed that all solutions is in Ghana, and we can see that everything we try to do, look at the trade between the West African countries, it's not up to 5%. And the Europeans have got multinational companies within West Africa. They are technologically advantaged. And what they are doing, they are keeping us well, because they know the day we solve our problem, that is the beginning of their problem. Now, you talk about tomato production. We start with farming. You are going to do the farming. You need a big land, unless you want us to be doing this tomato, some people put in a basket. No, we are talking about industrial production of tomato. Beyond the factory that is producing it, beyond Ghana. It means you are talking about canning industry. You are talking about so many things. that need what we call capital intensive venture. You now look at the ECOWAS in this sense. Laws will be made at the level of ECOWAS. Loans will be given to people within countries, private people, to engage in these things, and they will pay the money back to the bank, and the business is theirs as long as they are competitive and keeping to the market. So what they will be doing is, if we have two people in Ghana, the ranches, we are not talking, we talk about only tomato. There's ranches, there's animal feed, there are so many things, shopping centers growing all over the place. We will start employing far more people than we are doing, and no country will be left behind, because everything will be by law. So when we are putting sanction, now America is putting sanction, European Union is responding, China is responding. What are we doing? Ghana is going to respond. We need to think big. Ghana was not destined to succeed. I like saying this. British created that mess.
The voice of the voiceless. The voice of the voiceless.
Kofi Ali.
Oh, Kofi Ali.
Don't worry, don't bother. I know you are Cyrus. You see, I have probably similar video to you on TikTok and YouTube, but don't worry about it. You don't know me.
Sure.
It doesn't
Kofi Ali. It is unfortunate that per how you are saying things, I've understood why, and this is not supposed to throw any shade at you. Please forgive me if it makes you feel so. But I have to say what I have to say. And I'm already saying this, that I don't want you to feel I've attacked your integrity or your education or that is not my intention. But per the way you have described the whole thing, it now gives me further understanding of why Ghana's problems seems unsolvable with the educated elites who are handling Ghana's economy. Because most of the educated elites in Ghana perceive things the way you perceive it, and that is why Ghana cannot solve its problem. But in order for Ghana to solve its problem, somebody will have to think outside of how the educated elites perceive things. When you look around Africa, countries that are making real moves, talking about Rwanda, talking about even our neighbor Burkina Faso, Mali, all these, Senegal, countries that are making real moves, it is no more based on the theory that is learned in school. What is happening is this: always create a platform. Like Kenya, create a platform at least to feed your people. Create a platform at least to feed your people, like what Burkina Faso leader is doing now. The tomato factory he has currently set up with $12 million. The idea is that Ghana is coming to buy, whether he's part of ECOWAS or not part of ECOWAS. The idea is Ghanaian buyers are coming. The idea is Mali women are coming. The idea is the moment you sit down and you say ECOWAS can put in a sanction, this can does this, the moment you start putting in all these reasons, you give yourself 99 reasons why something cannot be done, and you forget the one reason why something can be done. And all you need is that one reason why something can be done. Because in the world, every scholar, especially educated people, they will give you 99 reasons why something should be re-examined, should be re-looked at. We have to look at the numbers again. We have to be careful. They will give you the 99 reasons. But the world hasn't been moved by the 99 people with the 99 reasons. The people in the bracket of the 99, they haven't moved the world. The world has always been moved with people who have dared to look differently. And the people who have dared to look differently are the people who say, let's start this, even though we have all these restrictions. We can do also this and we can do also that. What is that? We can feed our people with this, we can feed our people with that. Now, when we start feeding our people with this and that, and the nearby countries hear that, oh, in Burkina Faso, a ton of tomato is 500 cities. Why are we being sold 5,000? It's not the Burkina people that will bring it to us. The people in the nearby country will now have to come. They will come and look for us. That is where the world is happening. When Elon Musk started electric cars in Tesla, he had every reason to give up, because all the the petroleum companies were putting pressure on the guy. He is coming to take their bread away from them. Everyone said electric cars will not work until the thing started to work. There is nothing that is not, listen, Mr. Kofi Ali, there is nothing good that will come easy. If you want to follow the status quo and the lay down procedures, if you want to obey your masters in Europe, if you want to play by the book every now and then, remember the outcome will always be predictable. For you to do the extraordinary, you must tap into the extraordinary, and every time there will be an obstacle. But everything you said was a description of the obstacle, but nothing to do with the solutions. And I'm telling you, Mr. Kofi Ali, the solution starts with being self-sufficient. When you become self-sufficient, every other thing is possible. Every year we are importing $20 million of this, $20 million of canned tomatoes. Let's now tackle them one by one. So we deal with tomato paste in the next 2 years, so that we cut the importation down to 10% or 15%, from 100 to 15%. We deal with onion, we deal with chicken, we cut it down for 50%, because internally we are growing. Forget about export for now. Let's cut what is within down. When we start cutting it down, there will be alternatives. But that has been my problem. Every time I meet people, when they start describing the problems with their thesis, all I hear is the gravity of the problem, how deep the problem is, how mismanaged the thing is, how impossible the thing can be done. But they never talk about the 1% of how others have done it. Mr. Kofi Ali, I hope the next statement you are going to make will be about solution and not a further explanation of the problem.
Yes. It's sad, Mr. Cyrus. Very, very sad. Educated as you are, you have removed yourself from those who are educated, so that you
I am not educated. I'm not educated. I am the least on this platform. We have people holding PhDs, masters. I don't have any of that.
My brother, you don't need PhD to say for people.
No, I'm talking about paper certificates.
You don't
qualifications.
I was doing my masters at the point.
So you are way ahead of me. That is what I'm trying. In terms of paperwork, I cannot compete you.
Difference. The job President Akufo-Addo did, the same thing is Atamil did. The same thing is Mahamadou. So it has nothing to do with qualification. We are talking at a basic level. The Constitution, to go to Parliament, has certain basic level you need to threshold you need to meet, and you have acquired that. So we cannot call you an uneducated person. In fact, I was thinking like this at the point that I also did the same thing you are telling me, that those who are educated, the professors are the problem, because they have a way of going out. I've watched those things. But let me ask you, you mentioned Elon Musk. And you are talking about an American with 300 million people. You want to give me an impression that you don't know advantage of what we call economic of scale. When we say economic of scale, it means Tesco, Sainsbury's, right? They are just like the off-license in the corner. But Sainsbury's will be selling what they are selling, or Tesco or Asda, at a smaller margin. But they will sell a lot because of their size. While the off-license will sell very little, but then the margin will be high. And
it's not always the case. It's not always the case.
Okay, now.
It is relative. I can break it down. It is relative because you have to look at the purchasing power of people. Even if the population is big, but they have very little purchasing power, like some places in India, it means nothing. They have big population, they can't buy.
My brother,
Number two.
My
hold
brother,
on,
be patient. Be
because you
patient.
are piling on things, and
Oh,
I wish I could see the end of what you want to
let
say.
me make my case. You understand what I'm going to. I don't think you've read the history of the United States of America. Maybe you have not. America, what we call the United States, the 13th state that started, they were British colonies. When they had their independence, they understand the colonizer will never go, you come back. So they form a union. And the union became the United States of America going forward. And the reason why they formed the union is that they could see what they could do together than what they can do individually. So Elon Musk today is taking advantage of 300 plus million people of the United States of America, technologically advanced. Put that aside. The European countries have operated as small countries for a very long time. Boy, they realize the smaller size is not good for them. They are not competitive where China and India is coming. So there's advantage in size. Now look at businessmen in Ghana and businessmen in Nigeria. Just look at the two. Where do you find more of the Dangotes? It's in that Nigeria. Ghana is the second largest after 170 million people. Ghana has got just 30 million. So no country in West Africa has got any sizable economy. Now let me come back to you. You mentioned India. Do you know a car called Jaguar Land Rover? Jaguar Land Rover. It is by India. Do you know that Indians have now stopped the importation of goods from China and they are produced domestically? Do you know that the whole of West Africa, our pharmaceutical companies are by Indians? Are you aware Indians have got more billionaires than the whole of the African country? We don't even have 5. Name them.
I
So what
think
I'm
I
trying to
think I
tell you,
think I think you have confused the whole thing. You talked about economies of scale, and I said
yes,
to you,
and you mentioned
economies.
India,
No. I didn't just mention India. I
but you
said to
are
you, no. Let me explain what I said. You didn't catch what I said. I said economies of scale and the purchasing power of the people is it must relate. For instance,
yes,
if you are producing so much because there is cheap labor and you have the technology to produce so much at a very cheap cost, but internally people are not capable of buying because their purchasing power is not there, it doesn't necessarily mean your economies of scale should be better than a smaller country, a relatively smaller country which has a higher purchasing power, because a country like America has just about 300 million people, but what they buy in a year is more than all of Africa's population, which is 1.4 billion dollars, 1.4 billion people buying in a year. So it's
wow,
not just the population, it goes with purchasing power.
yes,
So don't
yes,
mix
yes.
the two.
Be
And
patient,
I
be
used
patient.
India. I said in many parts of India, in many parts of India, the people's purchasing power is next to nothing. So when the market is even big, they still can't buy because they don't have the resources to buy.
And
So you can't
I
use.
will explain that to you.
You know
Please
what? I think we are. There are
be
others who want
patient.
to join.
I know.
There
Be
are
patient with
there
me.
are
Be
others
patient.
who are want to join. So
You are. You
we
see,
will have to go back and
I
forth on this for a while.
established to you that I'm an economist, and you are explaining. Be
These
patient.
these days these days
Hey,
economists, they don't
my
have goodwill
brother,
with Ghanaians. So
Cyrus, Mpacho,
Kofi Ali,
see me,
these
Kakra,
days
see
economists
me.
don't have
You
goodwill with
see,
Ghanaians.
be patient because of Bamia. Be patient. Let me explain myself. Let me explain myself. You understand me? You see, when you talk about purchasing power, where do you get the purchasing power? If a person has no job, he can't have the purchasing power. Employment is the basis. So that employment allows the person to be part of the production process. He's paid his salary to be part of the consumption. So now you are talking about purchasing power now here.
Not
When you go to
necessarily. What you
Ghana,
have said is still not necessarily, because it can be a big company which is using a lot of uh, technology to power production. So it doesn't necessarily translate to the people getting jobs. It may be a big population, but the companies are using technology to work in most of the departments. So the population may not get the job, and so they will be in a big market, but their purchasing power will still be small.
Yeah.
It is this is what is happening in India. Because the company wants to be smart. They want to bring in a machine that can do what 50 people can do. So even though it's in a place where labor is cheap, they are still not even using that labor. So what I'm saying to you, we'll go back and forth for a while.
That is you see, you are talking about our markets. We have people dumping goods on us. If you go to Accra, there's nothing in Ghana that you want to buy that is not there. But the people do not have the purchasing power. They don't have the ability to consume because they are imported. And like you rightly said, machines can be used to give advantage to manufacturers. So when more of your manufacturers are foreigners and goods from outside, it means your local consumers are only consuming, but they are not part of production. And this is what you are explaining. Now, when we have industries across West Africa, we want to be competitive because we cannot sit down. We need to be competitive. It means we need to go into technological distance. You are talking about canning a tomato. Are you going to make the machine yourself or you are going to import it? So we are telling you, do you know that in Ghana, our electricity, as I talk to you, they are foreign owned. Foreigners produce electricity for us. We pay them in dollar. So the problem is complicated than the way you are looking at it. If you look at things in a small way, you will see it in a small way. The problem is complicated than the way you are.
The problem is not complicated. No, the problem is not complicated.
So you believe Ghana can solve it?
There is nothing, absolutely nothing Ghana cannot solve in terms of Ghana's problems. Okay. Give me one problem that Ghana can solve. I'll solve it to you. Give me one. I'll solve it myself.
Well, let me tell you one thing Ghana cannot solve.
Tell me one.
One problem. Ghana as it is now, right? The machine for making electricity, Ghana as it is, given foreign pressure and investors, Ghana can never solve that problem.
No, I said give me one problem. You have not mentioned the problem. Just mention
of production of electricity.
Do you know when Ghana? Okay, thank you very much. Do you know when Ghana has been using hydroelectricity? Since Kwame Nkrumah.
Yes.
Since that time, Ghana has produced more engineers than any West African country with hydroelectricity. Ghana alone has produced more hydroelectric engineers, people who work with hydroelectricity, than any other African country in West Africa. We have how many rivers in Ghana? So many of them. We could have turned so many, at least 3 or 4 of them, at different spots with the technology that we have learned with Akosombo Dam. The technology which we have dealt with, not any strange technology that will confuse us. Let's put all of that aside. Just the hydro we learned from Akosombo, we could have dammed different places and used our people to generate it. Let me tell you what has happened in my small experiment. I went to do mining in a place. This is my personal experiment. I went to do mining in a place. I saw a river there. I told the chief in that community, Mr. Chief, this river the pressure is good enough. It can even be turned to you to do hydroelectricity. All I did to a young man there was open a YouTube channel to him and show him how this is common on YouTube, how you produce electricity from river. By the time we left there, at least the bulb, the small light around that area, because that part is very dark, the small boy could have dammed that small river with the pressure coming and put on the capacitor or whatever, I don't know the terminologies, and at least he had about 3 bulbs that were shining in that community. Everything is doable. We have had technical people at the Akosombo Dam since 1950 something or 1940 something, whenever that thing was done. Ghana has had technical people mining in Obuasi mining company since 110 years ago. We have the best engineers in mining in Africa. You tell me Ghana cannot solve the problem of mining. When you go online and companies are looking for diversification, bringing in foreign workers from Africa, Ghana is the number 1 on the list when Australians are looking for qualified people from Africa. In terms of mining engineering, Ghana is number one. You go to Sierra Leone, I've been there. The top people in their mines, you find Ghanaian young men there. In South Africa, you go to Gabon, you go to the Gambia, all over the place. They could have easily mined there. The only reason that has stopped us is not ECOWAS. The reason that has stopped us is not ECOWAS being strong or AU being strong. It is leadership not interested in making Ghana self-sufficient. When the moment leadership is not interested, nothing works. But
Okay.
when people say this, they just ridicule all the experiences we have across the country because they want to make a point. But that is not how we make a point. Ghana has the best engineers in mining, the best engineers in hydroelectricity, all of West Africa. There is nothing that can stop us from solving that problem without using any foreign technology. I don't know why you are saying this.
Let me tell you something.
No,
What you
but
have
there are
done-
other people
what-
who are.
Do you know?
I
do you
asked
know
you
what
for
you have
one problem.
Do you
But
know what you have done?
No, listen,
I
Kofi
gave
Ali.
you one problem. You
Kofi Ali,
didn't give
if
me the
Kofi
how
Ali-
Akosombo Dam was built.
Kofi Ali,
You
Kofi
were
Ali.
talking as if
Kofi
Ghanaians
Ali,
built-
Kofi
Ghanaians
Ali.
didn't build, Americans built Akosombo
You
Dam.
don't need Ghanaians to build Akosombo Dam. China didn't
No.
build anything. It was the Germans who taught the Chinese how to build. They went to Germany and acted like school children when already they were professors in China. Then they went. I lived in China for 5 years. China didn't
So
build
you
it.
see China
They
the way
learned
you
it
see
from the
Ghana.
Chinese, and
You
then they
see
start
China
building
the way
them
you see
themselves.
Ghana, isn't it?
No, I'm talking about the process,
You
not the
are
people.
referring to listen. See.
Kofi
Our
Ali,
poverty,
I think you
our
just want to
condition.
argue.
No. I'm
You
not
only
arguing.
want to
You
make.
see, I'm going to let you have the floor. Finally, you see, there is the bird. The chicken is the bird. The vulture is the bird. The eagle is the bird. Chicken want to fly. Chicken is not flying. Please go and sit down and ask yourself, this bird want to fly. It's also a bird, but it's not flying. What is wrong with this kind of breed? And when you are able to do that and look at how others are solving similar problem, then you understand that Ghana cannot be an island in West Africa. So you thought with what is going on between ECOWAS and Burkina Faso, when they leave the ECOWAS, they will be making what do you call it, tomato, and be dumping it inside Ghana. ECOWAS will put sanction on that. So you are maybe you subscribe to the members of Ghana Parliament that will vote for to go. I am trying to tell you how law works. You are telling me how strong men do things. When you say rule of law, leadership, it's about obeying the law, not doing what you want. Yeah, I've listened to you for a long time. You have that can-do mindset. That this is possible. This is possible. Life is not like that. Institutions and law do things. People don't do anything. If you live in Europe,
Kofi Ali,
China, and
Kofi
so
Ali,
on,
thank you so
you
much.
see how law works. So
Kofi
thank you very
Ali,
much for
thank you
allowing
so
me to join
much.
your platform.
Thank you for sharing my platform. All right. God
Thank
bless
you. Have a wonderful day.
You too, sir. I respect Kofi Ali so much. But we have to vote for people who believe they can do things, not people who are just coming to obey law. We must vote for people who can do, and not just people who are coming to be those who are just there to obey laws. And the president of Burkina Faso is growing his tomatoes. Watch the space. Whether ECOWAS will do whatever, watch the space. When there is tomato shortage in Ghana, just watch the space. When tomato starts coming in, maybe I'll start videoing the things to you, and you see the space. The same laws will be there, but you see what will happen in the country. The same continent that doesn't obey any law, you are now saying go and obey laws. The same continent that obeys no laws. There is literally no country obeying any law in this part of the world. Burkina Faso has started the tomato production. The other day I went to the mall. I bought Dole, the yogurt, and I saw made in Ivory Coast. I said, wow, Ivorian products are coming. If people are going to be voted and they are just going to tell us reasons why they cannot do X, Y, and Z, ladies and gentlemen, you don't vote for those people. If the person we are voting for can only explain to us, detail it to us, why this and that cannot work, then they don't need to be in office. We need people who say, that is what it says. We'll see what we are going to do about it. Let's start from here. Let's start with being self-sufficient. Can we? Let's start being self-sufficient. When the trucks are coming from Burkina Faso, when they get to Amasaman, and they are coming in their numbers, and I'm sitting there those days when I used to live on that road, and I'm looking at the trucks coming in from Burkina Faso, I'm like, hey, so we are giving these people all these monies. They will start coming very soon. Our women are going to go there very soon. Before you realize, they are buying very, very soon. It is all negotiations. That is why I like a person like Trump. When people are saying, nah, this can't, no, he says, we are going to get it done. It's negotiation. It is all negotiation. The same mouth that instituted whatever will start talking. We have to make a way, because food must move. Things must be done. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not having a fake belief in Ghana. I don't have a fake belief in Ghana. They can't do spirit in Ghana. No. I've seen it done elsewhere. And Ghana can do it because Ghana stands in that position. We have all the trained people to do it. Whenever I have traveled to other countries and see Ghanaian technocrats handling high positions, I feel so proud. You hear names like Frimpong. You hear names like what do you call Azuma. You hear names like Yeboah. I'm mentioning names that I saw. You hear names like what is the other name? Bosco. I didn't even know he was a Ghanaian. He told me he's a Dagati. I'm a Dagati. I said, wow. Then you know we can do it. But leadership will tell you, Ghana, we cannot do it. Because X, Y, and Z are the main problems. And until we overcome X, Y, and Z, nothing can be done. Then go and sit home. Go and sit down. This is what separates the new generation young men from the old generation young men. We will never think alike. And I refuse to think alike like them. I refuse it. We will never come to the same conclusion. No matter the thesis, the research work you have done, I will tell you, go and watch Burkina Faso and see what they are doing there, and come and talk to me. Go and see what Paul Kagame is doing there. When all these European countries were trying to remove Paul Kagame from office, they want to remove him. Go and watch what he's doing there and come and talk to me. We will never share the same table, because your set of beliefs is anchored on the fact that there are rules to obey. Hallelujah for you. Go and obey them. Go and obey them. This is what has brought us here. Nobody has dared to do something different. I like people who dare to do something different. When I was leaving Ghana to Malaysia, I was a young boy. I didn't tell my father, my mother. It was the day before I leave to Malaysia. Then I called my father, I called my mother, I called my siblings. I told them, they said, where are you going? Uko Kumasi, Uko He. I said, I'm leaving Ghana. I said, where? I said, I'm going to Malaysia. How? How are you going to go there? Where? When? Who? Ha. Before they realized, my bags were ready. I'm going to the airport. This is my passport and my visa. They couldn't fathom this. This is how the country is. They have made it so hard for even people to believe something can be done. But we are not buying it. We don't want to play with that. That is why when a new guy like Nana Kwame Bediako came on the scene, he started attracting people like me. Because everybody was singing the same song. The guy said, no, we can get it done. Nana Kwame, he came on the scene and he was saying something new. And I'm like, yeah, this is my kind of guy. This is my kind of guy. We have 99 reasons why nothing can change. But this other guy says, oh no, the thing can be done. No, I will go with that guy. Nah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first time I've had this discussion with, people who are higher than me. I had a similar discussion back and forth with another big man. He told me, Cyrus, your mindset, the way you have programmed your mind, you think, and I said, big man, your mindset too, the way you have programmed your mind. If we give Ghana to you, and when I said it to him, he felt like I was attacking him. That is why I had to tell Mr. Kofi that, Senior, I'm not attacking you. But I told him, like, this big man, the way you have also addressed the issue, if we give Ghana to you for even 50 years, nothing will change. If we give Ghana to you for 50 years, you come back and tell us A, B, C reasons are the reasons you couldn't do nothing. And you give us very good reasons. But who cares about good reasons? Who cares about good reasons? When China closed their doors for 20 years and was taking care of internal matters, we cared about good reasons. Today, the Chinese people are dancing. They are happy. Who cared about good reasons? They drag the people on their backs to the line of development. That is what you do. The world was calling it child labor. The world was calling it forced labor. The world was calling it all manner of names. Now you go to China, you see all these Europeans traveling there. The same people who call them names are traveling there and touring the country, taking pictures, videos, seeing all the technological advancement in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, put aside all of that, the theories, the thesis, the research. Let's get to work. Let's at least feed ourselves. Stop giving us 99 reasons why things cannot be done. We want to just hear the one reason. Let's start with the one and see what happens. After all, we have always walked, applied the 99 reasons. So what did we get? Like a Chinese man I work with told me. He said, when a man pushes you and keeps pushing you to the edge of a cliff, no matter how small you are, the Chinese man taught me this. Liu Feng taught me this. He said, when a man pushes you to the edge of a cliff, no matter how small you are, you must stand and fight, or else he will easily push you down the alley and you fall into the ditch and you die without putting up a fight. Every time you listen to our big men, they have no fight in them. There is no dog in them. There is no dog in them. They are just coming to follow the queue. There is no dog in them. That is why Ghana is not changing. You need to stir up the dog in you. We are not all born the same. That is why Nkrumah will come from America and come and see a UGCC and look at all the elements in it and say, forget about these people. I'm going to start it. The same people would have told Nkrumah, it cannot be done. That is not how we do it. Nkrumah will look at them and say, forget about yourselves. I'm going to get it done. And those people were holding very good positions. But you don't have, it's not 1,000 Nkrumah. It is 1 out of 1 million people. And normally when the 1 out of the 1 million person is talking, the rest of the people think, this guy, man, especially those who are high up there, what does he think he knows? Until the person is given the role to play. Until the person is given the role to play. And Nkrumah didn't come all the way to Ghana to come and follow the line. He didn't come to Ghana to come and follow the line, to come and follow the queue and wait to when the Europeans are ready to leave and hand over power to them. No. He said self-government now. Self-government now. I always want to see that man in Nkrumah. I want to see how the people surrounding him were talking. The problem description they gave him, how they expected him to go about it and be diplomatic and be careful of sanctions and all of that. Because of Ghana, For those who don't know, because of what Nkrumah did, the rest of Africa had the effrontery, the zeal to now say, look, our brother has gotten independence. We can get it now. Just the moment Nkrumah secured independence for Ghana, the thing triggered like wildfire. Now everybody was sprouting out. Everybody was coming out. Boom, boom. Independence became the new thing. Everybody was getting it. But before he came, why wasn't they getting it? Before Nkrumah showed up, why wasn't Senegal, Gambia, Nigeria, Guinea, all of those countries, why were they not getting independence? They needed him to come and stir up the pot. After stirring up the pot, everybody realized, no, the thing is doable. Nkrumah has shown us the way. So you look at all the flags in West Africa, majority of these flags, it is all red, yellow, and green, because they believed in what Nkrumah started. Red, yellow, and green. Everybody was going after Nkrumah's line. Red, yellow, and green. Red, yellow, and green. Yeah. We need pace setters. So we don't need people who are going to explain the problem to us. That time is gone. That is for classroom work. The Baumia will come and break the whole thing. Baumia, I'm talking about black Africa. Egypt is not black. Egypt is, Mediterranean sort of. Partially Mediterranean. Baumia level kind of people. They will come and demonstrate all the magic on the board. Give the economy to them. Baumia will run away. Baumia will start talking about digitalization. After talking about economy, you give the thing to him, then you realize the only thing the guy really knew was a classroom lecture. That was all. When he started handling the economy, just as Mike Tyson said, it is when he got punched in the mouth, then he realized, oh, this is the real deal. Now, what tenacities do I have in me to handle these things? The dollar just started rising from 4, 6 to 17, 18. The guy was just looking. The thing was just going. If we have a government who wants to shut down how the dollar is going up, there are places to target. When he targets them, easy work. They don't have the will. But I don't want someone telling me, Cyrus, you cannot just come and solve the problem of dollar CD problem. You wait. One day we'll have that kind of leadership where problems can be solved. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to bring the show.
Ano kwamo mianka na awodi nipa pina ekwate timu pao amani pampempema wale agu odia sampa spiritual and herbal center awo womo yade se wombe muwenya basisi a yade beti se stroke gonorrhea anabama waye mre e wampamu low sperm count womo wanu aduro tatahwe ene je sam se sabane sunsumu nsama womo tenete se ye sunsumu aware anasa yare bi ne de amawo pampabone anabo ana wanya abai amane e court case wobetu charge osisi a enam omadwuma panti ni pampempem enebe fo bukofie ekoye sunsumu nyuma edemom samosini ene enzimani akabom dia sunsumu niama asie betu obi aje wukunu anasa woyere awaresem adwuma sam akwantuom nsam ni nyina aya sumasem fabadan odia sampa spiritual and herbal center obehuyan
New Koforidua ejoso ne konongo infinfin aye Ashanti region ehon ma number aye didi juma no aye 054 330 4976 and I say 020 134 0421 054 330 4976 and I say 020 134 0421
Odia Sampa Spiritual and Herbal Center. You be do us some amount.